G'day friends, welcome to today's YouTube video. My name is James, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. Today I have a special guest in the studio with me.
Hi everybody.
Here he is.
It's me, Steve.
It's Steve, this is my husband, Steve of the infamous Steve Lamona's Photography. This is Steve's, I would say this is as close as you've got to a journal.
So, yes,
this
it
is
is.
Steve's journal.
It's my portfolio.
Well, much how we explore our creativity through the visual medium of, the artistic drawings with the pencils and the paints, Steve does it through the lens of a camera, and so this is his visual artistry, and we like to bring Steve in every now and again just to talk about his perspective and his creativity and what he loves about it and how he does it. We've had many discussions about photography before on the chat. We know a lot of people enjoy photography in our community, and it's a big part of art journaling as well, especially for a lot of scrapbookers and document keepers. Photography probably features in your work. So Steve's on his own journey, and he has his own business as a photographer, and so this is his portfolio from the past 14 months that we want to flip. Yeah, we want to flip through the whole thing.
It's amazing. I did do a portfolio last year. James helped me create. A lot of this is, because James is...
Because I love to get a book.
Right.
I don't miss an opportunity.
James helped me create a portfolio last year, which essentially covered the span of I would say almost 8 years. And so to see that it's of similar size, 8 years versus this is really cool.
Yeah, so this is a lot of client work is in here, a lot of real life shoots that people have, contracted Steve to do. There's also some personal work in here. You might be familiar with a few faces. We're just going to say straight up, to flip through everything and say every story we'll have will take 600 episodes. So we will not be touching on absolutely everything, but whenever something sounds like something we should talk about, we'll probably just elaborate on it a bit. But first up, we have our cover model.
This is our cover model. This is Sarah. And a lot of times people often say, or will ask, who are your muses, or do you have a muse? And I think I pull from a bunch of different people in my life. James is certainly a muse for me.
You are just saying that because this camera's right. I've never heard this.
But yeah, you're right. It is just because of camera. No, I'm kidding. But there's different things
Sarah's definitely one of them.
Yes, Sarah's absolutely a muse. I think she has such great energy. She's fearless, and I've known her for a long time, and she is just gives off such great energy that it's so much fun to capture.
Sarah, Steve photographed Sarah through many different stages of her life as well. So it's been interesting to contrast all of that together and to pop her on the cover and kind of celebrate this current season of Sarah she's been so fun. There's a shoot we've done since this has been printed. Yes. I wish was in here.
I know. I just put it on my Instagram yesterday.
Kate Moss inspired.
And she was incredible. She killed it.
Yeah. For any of my virtual voyages, if you did virtual voyage 1 and you remember Fathoms Below, we had those reference models with Janae and Sarah. This is Sarah. This is the mermaid. So let's get to flipping.
Here we go. Steve Lamona's Photography 2020 to 2021. This is you can't really see this. I don't think you can really see this in the video, but this is just a cool design of my signature, my autograph, so you can't forge it.
He's dying to tell you that this color was sampled.
It's color sampled from the waters of Capri.
There you go.
And I'm obsessed with it.
They actually did a really good job printing this.
Yeah, the colors look great.
It looks really good.
Obviously, self-portrait of myself. James helped me with this picture. And this right here has my mission statement on it. And this is my handwriting as well. It says, authentically connect, playfully create, uniquely capture. Love, Steve. And I really love having this mission statement. It kind of keeps me, it's like my North Star every time I do a shoot. It helps keep me on path. If I ever feel like I'm veering, or if I'm feeling insecure or not really confident, I'm always go back to that and say, am I authentically connecting? Am I playfully creating? And am I capturing in a unique and different way? And so it always kind of helps me get back on track. So
it's always good to have a metric for success.
Yes.
Was I successful? Because especially having your own business, we've talked about this a million times, you're the one that has to get back your feedback.
Right.
So this is a really good place to check back.
Sure. And success looks different for everybody, and every shoot has a different type of success, but if it aligns with this, then it's successful. Here we go. Dun, dun, dun. Opening picture. This is the Kwan family. These are some friends of ours from church, and
this is their family Christmas card.
This is their family Christmas card from 2020, and the theme was all dressed up with nowhere to go, and so we shot this in their living room, and no joke, this is them 24/7.
Yeah. We joke because the last time we had this family in a magazine, poor Ed was in the gutter and completely disappeared in the gutter. So this time we made sure he was out of it. But yeah, Steve was actually standing up on a ladder.
On a ladder.
In the roof. His head was
It was
sideways up in the roof.
I was as far back as I could possibly go.
Yeah, so this was a challenge to set up, but one of my favorite family shots. I love that this is truly them.
Yes.
They have all this attitude and all this styling. This is normal.
Fun fact, Teresa is an incredible chef, and she knows I love Aperol Spritz, and so she actually made this drink. It's called the Limones, and it's Aperol with gin and some other fixings, some other citrus fixings. So it's like what is it, like a joke, a story within a story type?
It's a little meta.
Yes, very meta.
You were taking the photo.
Anyway, I love it. This is amazing. And this is also all from their own closet.
It's going to be hard for us not to try and elaborate on all the
I
personal
know.
stories we have with everyone, but hopefully you know that literally everyone in here has an hour's worth of a story to
Yes. Everyone in here is special to us. This is a friend of mine, Abigail, and this was her editorial shoot. She wanted some promo material, and she's an incredible actress and songwriter, singer, dancer, and she just came to the studio with tons of wardrobe options that just worked. And
I think this was the first time we were shooting. Steve and I do it together a lot of the time. I'll just help kind of pull pieces together and help with whatever setup Steve needs. But I think this was the first time we finished and we're like, I think we got too much.
Yeah.
Like, how do we narrow this down?
Truly, I mean, it was a great problem to have, and there's such versatility between this look and this look. And
we learned from this shoot to ask people to bring a wardrobe of neutrals that were interchangeable.
Yeah.
It was the most versatile way to capture what we needed.
Oh, 100%. I mean, case in point, she's wearing the same pants here, different shirt, different top, or sorry, different tops, different shoes, and it's multiple looks. It was great. Love this.
Really successful. There aren't a lot of weddings in this, but you will see a lot of Trent and Sophia.
Yes.
They are so gorgeous.
Trent and Sophia, I met this year, and they are they're very classy, very elegant, very simple. And I thought their wedding was so beautiful. They got married in his childhood home, in the backyard of his childhood home. And we just did these bridal portraits literally in front of the house on the street. And I think it just totally works with who they are. You see their story, just how much they love each other. And it doesn't really matter what the location is. You just see it in who they are.
Well, I was going to say the location actually is kind of key sometimes I think the switch that I've seen Steve made over time is being more fearless with the angles and the cropping and like how he's approaching the setups of the shots. Because these are typically things I would never have seen from Steve in weddings that you shot even 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So it is really exciting for me that Steve's ventured out into more editorial type photography, because I've loved fashion magazines and fashion imagery for so long, and I love how classy this looks.
Thank you. I love it as well.
You can tell I've been a pusher the
entire
time.
So these are a couple portraits. These are I actually really love how this works in the layout of the book.
Yeah,
that it's opposite sides, that it's dark backgrounds, and the colors are very similar. But both beautiful portraits of two beautiful women, and a similar story but different. And I'm just very mesmerized by it.
Yeah, I love that.
Fun fact, anytime you see movement in the hair, you'll see it kind of pop up throughout this portfolio. It's James holding foam core and just flapping it up and down.
Honestly, it's not as simple as it sounds. I challenge you to go in very specifically, pull a gust of wind on someone's hair. It's a really good skill. I have to put on my resume.
But it really just adds so much life to the image.
Oh, I love it.
It's great.
Sacrifice my wrists every time.
Then we have Sarah, our cover model. And this was a shoot that I did with a friend of mine, my friend Dylan, who actually met in Italy on the trip that I went. And he lives in Arizona. He was in town, and I said, let's do a shoot. So I called up Sarah, and we went to the hills of Irvine and told her to bring some fun outfits, and she did. And then we went to Little Corona del Mar, to the beach, and we got these very Pirate Mermaid inspired images, which are just simple but effective, and there's more to be seen.
I think it's nice to put a lot of, I mean, especially this shoot, it's nice to kind of put both in here. I don't think anyone reading this would notice, but there's a really different feeling when you're shooting clients and then when you're on your own personal shoots just for fun, because a lot of learning happens here.
Tons.
That you feel really comfortable to learn when someone's not paying for it. You still want to do a great job, obviously.
There's more freedom.
Right. So, and that's where we get like images that I think, sometimes you wouldn't even try with a client because you wouldn't want to risk, the experience changing.
Correct.
Yeah, but I think even that's making us feel a little bit more fearless to try anything and everything.
Because when it's not a paying client, when it's a friend, the expectation is different.
Totally.
And fortunately for Sarah, she is always ready to be in front of the camera, and she got some great shots. We all got some great shots.
She doesn't make it hard, though.
Oh, no, not all. Here's more Sarah.
She's very easy in front of the camera.
See, I love this. This is like very gypsy pirate mermaid. I love it.
She's got a great style, too.
Great style.
I think, yeah, a piece of advice we'd always give out, if you're looking to practice photography or like do these setups, just go and find someone who presents themselves as not even runway ready, but someone with a really unique style. Because that's one of the hardest things to kind of pull together is the whole look of the shoot.
Yeah.
So if you've got someone like Sarah who just has a unique sense of fashion style, those are great people to practice with.
It helps. They're already fearless, obviously, with that, but then...
They bring the mood, they bring the styling. Yeah.
They do all the heavy lifting for you. This is Italy. This is, I went to Italy this summer, July and August, for a couple weeks, and I was primarily on the Amalfi Coast. I went to Capri and then Positano, and I did a photo workshop, and these are a couple images from that day. We took the boat from Capri to Positano, and that's where these images come from. And it just was, I mean, it was a dream within a dream. Who gets to do an editorial like with Positano in the background? I can't believe it.
I know, people probably think you photoshopped it.
I know, right? No, and there's such a really cool mood about this image. I'm captivated by how like the furrow in his brow and just the colors and how blue it all is.
There was a lot of boats around there, and it was really hard to try and frame everything out and
make it
compose it in a way that was actually really simple and clean
and effective. It's really great. Oh yeah, I love these. This was an experiment. We went to a conference called the Portrait Masters, and we had the opportunity to shoot a variety of different models and different setups. And
it was actually a portfolio building workshop.
Yes.
It was 2 days, and it was actually styled in a way that I feel like neither of us really... It wasn't the client we were searching for, but it became an amazing challenge for the both of us, because every time we turn up to a booth, we would try and find an editorial spin on it.
Yeah, how can we change this? And
so he was actually dressed up fully
with the suspenders and tie. And
he had a backdrop that was all a canvas.
He had that, which is a beautifully painted canvas backdrop. And we just wanted to change it up. And so we took this part of this V flat, and James held it behind him, and we started shooting. And I love how graphic the images came out.
We shot him in front of the backdrop, and then we were like, can we try something else? Yeah. So yeah, and we only had a few minutes in each booth.
4 minutes.
It was, and he was just so fun. There's some more of him in here. They're really fun.
Again, fearless.
That's a big part of something I learned at that conference, is if we're working with someone that doesn't really feel it or doesn't really want to play, like I actually found it a lot harder.
Yeah, it shifts the energy completely. Yeah. Here we are back to Abigail with her portrait. It's my friend Carissa from church. We were doing a very Studio 54 Halston inspired for fun. And Carissa actually is, she's a therapist in real life. And this was totally for fun. This is very unexpected.
I think Steve says that. Yeah, says it because it's really out of her comfort zone.
Yeah, 100% out of her comfort zone. But she went for it. Super natural in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Great at posing.
Stella came and did her makeup.
Yeah, we have this we had such a great time.
It's really good.
Yeah, she just went for it. This is another image. These are other images from the Portrait Masters. This model, Naijuk, was brilliant and fantastic. And
so fun.
We just wanted to play around and do something different, and she went for it. It's our friend Margot. She was doing some album artwork, and I love this portrait of her. She's an incredible singer-songwriter.
This is Stella doing makeup.
Yeah. And these are all just a variety of clients, also friends. This was from Nate, wanted to do a birthday editorial, so did Isaac. And so these are just a couple of those images. I love this picture of Stella doing Rachel's makeup. It's also very, very editorial.
Yeah.
And because Rachel's just sitting there.
I love it too. It's funny because the more we get into it, the more we realize that anything goes. I mean, in fashion photography, I was under this illusion and editorial that everything had to be perfectly set up and perfectly lit and perfectly everything. But there were always these moments in between where you could, like, the backdrop wasn't perfectly set up, or it was dirty framed a little bit, or someone had come in to touch makeup up. And even those moments were still captivating to me.
Yeah, there's a huge story there.
So I love them.
Yeah, you put her on just a step ladder and just pose.
Yeah, we always kind of say if you're focusing on all the other stuff, you haven't done a good enough job capturing them.
Now this is Janae. Janae is another friend and muse of ours.
Virtual Voyages, the other mermaid.
The other mermaid. And this is also from that Halston editorial that we just showed you with Carissa. Yeah. And it was actually motivated by Janae because Janae really wanted to do a Diana Ross inspired shoot, and so we kind of merged the two together. And look at her.
We wanted to get a huge Diana Ross wig, but we couldn't find one in time. But Janae's braids actually looked really fun and modern. And there's another set of photos in here that are some of my favorite.
And it kind of works. You're taking a sense of the past, but you're modernizing it.
Oh, you still totally get disco from this. It's just like the snake shoes. Even that snake armband, that was from Jenny and Pearl.
No, this was actually from the Steve Lamona's photography
Was
collection.
it? We had some Jenny and Pearl. Oh, I think maybe Carissa was wearing
Carissa was wearing Jenny and Pearl, yes.
Yeah.
But this is from our collection.
This lighting was different. From the Diana Ross photo, she had a beauty dish directly above her head, right?
Correct. Yeah, she had an umbrella.
And I think she was holding onto the pole, the C-stand. So we couldn't get any C-stand to hold onto that close because we had a bigger softbox, but it was just straight up and down. That's why a lot of the chin is up to catch the light on the face.
Yeah. Otherwise, it just creates funny shadows. But
especially with the lashes, it would just be like a full lash shadow.
You can't really see the makeup up close, but Stella did an incredible job of just doing that cut. Was it that cut crease right there?
Yeah, that 60s, 70s, that black line.
It was amazing. This is my buddy Isaac, a good friend of mine. We work together. We also work out together. And he brought these pants to his shoot, and I thought, hey, he's also a dancer, so I said, let's have some fun with the pose and make a bunch of shapes, and kind of helped create a graphic look overall.
This was so funny to me because Steve was saying before he started that Isaac just said he wanted to keep it pretty simple, and like knowing Isaac, I was thinking, oh yeah, he just wants some like sitting there and looking at the camera. There's some headshot type stuff. So when I saw this come back, I was thinking, who is this? Yes. I mean, that's someone, I think that's one of those things about having those photo shoots that you really don't know until you're in there, but some people just come alive in front of a camera.
Yeah.
Or they are playing a part that they've never played before. And it's so fun to watch.
Right, and they're nervous. They're nervous at first just because they're nervous. And then you realize that they become comfortable enough and they go for it.
We'll always give people a couple of minutes in the first photo set to warm up. That's where we usually start pretty casual. But once they're warmed up, it's just play.
They're ready. Oh, this is Kara. Now, Kara is what I have a weird, I don't always like to say assistant, so I say teammate. But she is my assistant and she's my teammate. Kara, I know her family from church, is how we met each other, and she just recently graduated. She was a art and film student. Kara is an incredible photographer. Yeah. And she has been a humongous asset to my team at Steve Lamona's Photography. And her family came in. This is last year. This is from last year's family photo shoot. There was a very similar stuck at home with no place to go. And they wanted to do taking inspiration from Queen, from the album artwork. And so that's what these are. This was shot in their home with masks.
This was this year.
But this image was from this year. She came in because she had a very specific idea in mind for their family Christmas card, and they wanted it to be inspired by K-dramas. And so she wore her traditional hanbok, and
I have the card here.
We just got the card 2 days ago, and they win.
They won Christmas cards for us. So Steve, we did everyone's individually, and we were coming up with the shots, and we had to do a whole bunch of different versions because we've never shot for anything that was going to be composited.
Right.
Like, you know, like a movie poster or anything. And yeah, I mean, we had all the reference images and she just killed it. So Kara actually put this all together. Yes. Steve did the photography for everyone individually. We also did some fun family stuff that was really fun. And, but yeah, I think Kara just did such a good job. Now I'm so jealous. I want mine to look like
that. I know. She did a full These are all individual photos of each of her family members, and they were photo composited together to look like a K-drama poster.
Put the sky in there and all the formatting with the font, and like she did such a good job.
Oh, I'm obsessed. It's so good.
So I need to scan this for my journal.
But this was an outtake after everything was done. I was like, Kara, let's get you, because this is such a pretty, pretty dress that you have on. Let's get it and let's capture it. And she just went in. James helped her with the poses, and I love this picture of her.
I love to play a lot of top modeling with the poses.
Yeah.
I put in a lot of hours watching America's Next Top Model. I'm glad it paid off.
Yeah. This is other client work.
Studio takes. Just lots of different places, different times.
This is Ellie. Ellie came in for her senior pictures. She graduated from high school last year, and she wanted some fun editorial type pictures. And this was a vintage coat that belonged to her grandma. And she came and had so much fun. I became so jealous that I was like, I want to redo my senior photos, and that's what these images are from.
Actually, she had a whole bunch of stuff for her senior shoot, but a lot of it was family heirloom type stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of the first times I had been a part of one of the shoots that you just realized that you were photographing the next generation of history for that family, and that's where I started to feel like it's definitely more important to get more things photographed all the time.
It's bigger than we think it is. So that was really fun. And she was so game to play.
Yeah.
These are more images from Capri. These are actually shot. This is on the island of Capri. And this was actually shot right outside in the front courtyard of a small church. This is their greenhouse. And a couple of models were standing there, and so I actually somebody told Mario, "Hey Mario, take off your shirt," and then they just, because they're professional models, just posed, and I just think it's a great story.
What's interesting about these is that because it was a whole workshop, there was a whole bunch of other photographers that have photos from the same experience.
Correct.
And there's a big difference between everyone's photos. It's interesting to see how everyone approached the same thing.
Yeah. And none of it is bad. It's just all very different.
It's all very different. I would say yours was a lot more minimalist.
I tried to be.
And it was, I like that.
I love this pose. This is Roberta, and we had her lay down, and I asked her to pose this way, and to me, this is like very rich on a yacht.
Yeah.
In Capri, just sunbathing. I love this picture. It's one of my favorite photos.
Which is what sometimes I like Steve, I think, didn't understand about editorial at first, was that you're capturing a mood or a vibe or something a bit more abstract, whereas I think in the past, I'm shooting someone in Capri, so I should show Capri in the background,
right? And
so you would never have gone for a photo like this because it doesn't show where you're at and who's there and blah blah blah. Like this, she couldn't be on a boat. There's that much water. Right. Do you even know she's out at the sea? But as I was challenging Steve to think outside of that box, like that's where you get these images from. And of course you get the other ones where Capri's there.
Yeah, you have the Faraglione in the back and back door. That's great and it's beautiful. But then what are you telling the story of? Are you telling the story of the rocks, or are you telling the story of the model?
Right.
And so this, in the collection of that, this actually to me tells a bigger story.
Yeah, this gives me a lot more mood.
Yes.
A lot more.
Luxe. Rich.
And these are so good.
This is another model, the same workshop, and his name's Peter. Peter's actually a Dolce model, or he's done modeling for Dolce & Gabbana, and it's so funny to see these images because who he is in real life, total goofball, completely unexpected, and then when he gets the camera in front of him, he turns on this brooding face, and this to me is a winner of an image. This is very cologne ad.
Totally.
And then when he got in the water, I was on the back of the boat, on like just up against the wood, like crouched all the way down to try to get as close to the water level as possible, and got this picture with Positano in the background.
Yeah, these were really fun to see.
I'm very proud of these images. Again,
because that whole workshop was styled, it was more of this that I was seeing Steve do, and I was truly shocked because like he cut off the rest of this. There's no styling in this. It's just a headshot.
Right.
But to like I never would have expected Steve was actually going to take the advice.
I promise, I learn, I listen.
Especially being in Capri of all places, I was like, he is going to come back with 65 images of that rock.
Which I did, and you'll see the rock later on. But this was just as important, and I'm very proud of myself for going for it.
Yeah, totally.
Here we are now. This is Capri. This right here is
you love a good light leak.
I do love a good light leak. Look at how beautiful this is. Why can't
I didn't even know there were people there until I just saw it.
Right now?
No, I've never seen these people here. I've only ever seen this part of the
Why can't I remember where this is? This is one of the most famous
The beach?
The beach club. I promise you, I'm going to hang up and I'm going to remember exactly where this is.
Yeah, you hang up on that video, Steve.
Right.
He's trying to hear the vlogger in his head say it.
What is it?
All those times.
I cannot remember. Anyway, it's exclusive and you have to have a reservation to go there. And right when I got into Capri, I messaged my friends who were at the workshop. And I said, where are you guys? And I said, we're here. We're at this place. I said, how'd you get there? I said, we just walked in. So I took the ferry boat from one part of the island over here and just got these pictures. This was something that I absolutely wanted to see and be a part of. And literally, the light shines in Capri different than it does any place else.
I know. I tried to pair these photos with other photos. It didn't look the same.
No, it just doesn't. The light looks different. And I tell James, I said, you know what? I said, mermaids live in Capri. It's without a doubt. The way the light hits the rocks, I was 100% in my aerial fantasy.
Sitting on a rock, flipping your hair back.
Literally.
There's
the rock. So there we are. Same model as before. It's also her as well, but I think this is fun.
Her?
Yeah, it's her.
Oh, I thought this was a different person.
No, it's all her.
No way.
Yeah.
It shows how much attention I pay. I literally format this book. I have no idea.
But yes, so there she is in front of part of the rock, which I like. I think it's cool. This literally shows Capri.
It was an interesting challenge for Steve to be presented also with styling that he had no part in and couldn't change either. It's not like he could really change what they were wearing or do anything. Because I remember Steve saying like, oh, I just don't think I've ever really done like beach or swimwear and stuff like this before. And he didn't really know before he was going what it was all going to be.
We didn't know what they were really going to wear. And also, how do you photograph swimwear in a way that is flattering? You know, that just really, that showcases the attitude and the mood of what you're trying to sell without being super obvious.
Well, there's a fine line we like to say sometimes when we're shooting, we just say men's magazine, women's magazine.
Yes.
And we'll leave it at that because you don't want to go too far explaining that. But we're always shooting for a bit more women's magazine.
We also had a stylist who provided sunglasses. And so the sunglasses were a big component of the editorial. And I think this really sells it.
Totally. It's hard to shoot sunglasses without it looking like, hey, I'm selling these.
Yeah. Do you like my white sunglasses? Yeah. Definitely an attitude and mood. And this is the blue in Capri is wild. And here's those rocks. Here's the Faraglione.
I didn't realize how big they were until I saw these boats.
That's the thing.
I thought these were small.
No, they're humongous. They're huge. That's why, the Dolce & Gabbana light blue commercial where they dive off the rock. I'm like, where did they really dive? How high is that? But these were the rocks that they shot that commercial on.
Sorry, I'm just going to move your book up just a touch so you're in the screen.
Okay,
there you go.
Perfect. Sorry. Thank you. Why can't I remember I can't remember the beach club. It's okay. I guess it doesn't matter.
I'm embarrassing myself by trying to speak any other language than English tonight.
So now we're leaving Italy and we're going back to Sarah. This is a dynamic image.
Yeah, this was the other front cover choice.
Yes.
But we thought it was a little too dramatic, the front cover.
But I would say maybe 3-4 years ago, I would never have shot with the model looking at direct sunlight.
I was just going to say that. This, to me, represents the fight of a lifetime Steve had with grappling with some of the old ideas he had about light and how you were supposed to shoot and at what time of day and in what type of light. Being a natural light photographer, and especially with your preference to let the light leak in from behind, like he would never turn anyone to the front. And he's done it a few times before, but this was the first time I think I saw him do it and not care that it was just going to be what it was and he was going to make the most of it. And I just thought they were so graphic.
Oh, this is so good. I'm happy I did. I haven't shared these on social media yet, so you are the first people to see this. Oh, this is another client. Lisa, she's a singer, an actress. She was actually in Wicked on Broadway, and she wanted something a little different, a little unique, a little against type, and she brought in these boots.
This would be it.
And this is it. And she killed it.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun playing.
So much fun. Back to the Kwans. So this is William, one of the Kwan kids, and we just wanted to have fun in the studio, and he brought in these fun different looks. This is actually a dress, Jenny and Pearl. This is a vintage dress, and we said, a la Harry Styles, hey, throw the dress on, go for it.
William's really fun. William will just do all of this in front of the camera without being asked. So I think the challenge for us was to meet his level of eccentricity. And I think this was effective. I really like that idea.
We took everything that you could sit on.
All the chairs
in the studio, and just lumped them together.
Yeah.
To me, it's very it looks like he's going on a trip.
Yeah.
Like he's standing on the train platform with all his bags.
It's like if you're in black box theater and this is a representation of a bunch of suitcases.
Yes, totally.
But it was also helping us identify, how much do you need to create a mood in editorial? Do you need more than apple boxes? Do you need more than a canvas, thrown over a chair?
On the ground, yeah.
Yeah. So this was a lot of us learning. We were taking crash courses in what should we be doing and how should we do it.
Yeah.
And so this was another one of those shoots where it wasn't a client per se. It was
a learning
coming
session
in to help.
Yeah, and we learned a lot.
Practice and play.
We learned a lot.
Oh, who's this?
So these should be familiar.
This was Steve's idea to put these in here. I kept trying to cut them out.
No, I thought that this is part of 2021, so we absolutely should. And
I forget that I'm one of your clients.
We collaborate together, yes. And this is from our Virtual Voyage 3, the Red Curtain Cruise, inspired by Baz Luhrmann's films. Tina Sparkle. This is Strictly Ballroom. This is Romeo and Juliet, Moulin Rouge, and The Great Gatsby. These were actually photographed in our house, in our living room.
Yeah. Stella came and did our makeup.
Yeah.
We did all of them in one day.
It was a long day, makeup changes and everything.
And hair changes.
We started here. We went 1, 2, 3, and 4.
It was a lot.
Right? This was 3. Yes.
This would have to be the last one.
This was definitely the last look. Yeah. So it was shot out of order to the when the films came out. But I really love how they came out. So I like this one of you.
Under the tulle.
Right. I love it.
This is the more effective version of this.
So this is our cruise muse. This is Jess.
My virtual voyages, you've seen these.
Yes, and this is, of course, Fran, Daisy, Juliet, and Satine.
So we took Jess. We had a whole bunch of photo reference drawing. There were drawing references for the characters that we were studying that cruise.
So great. And she brought some of her own wardrobe, and we had these pieces.
This is all dirty framed, which just means we're not trying to
hide the background.
Yeah, hide anything in the background. But we're still very intentional about keeping everything central to the set, and especially with the lighting, making sure that it kind of vignetted the whole thing naturally. So this is not vignetted on purpose. This was naturally how it was lit. Yeah. And it was a nice challenge for us.
This is actually the shoot that I did, and I felt like I finally got it.
Really?
Yeah. There's something about this shoot where I was like, oh, I get it now. It all clicked for me. And something about how it all worked and came together. I understood the fill light and the key light. And,
really?
Yeah.
That was late in the piece.
It was February.
Don't tell your clients that.
It was February.
Yeah, that was really good.
It's more Virtual Voyage.
There's a whole bunch of Virtual Voyage. These were our costume photos for the Lamplight Cruise.
Yeah, Virtual Voyage 4. Inside Out, Monsters Inc.
We did all those in
Coco,
one day too. Goodness.
And Toy Story.
Orchestrating all those costumes.
This was
a lot.
Nuts.
And we painted those apple boxes as well. We have one left. We have the Coco one.
For obvious reasons.
At Steve's studio. The rest are now black and white.
Yes. If you see a black and white apple box throughout this rest of this.
Yeah, it used to be one of these.
But it's nice to have these as reference. For sure.
And this was both Halloween ones.
Yes, this is more Virtual Voyage. So this is Halloween 2020. This is the Tim Burton family portrait. We have Beetlejuice, the cats. These are our Halloween costumes.
And this was 2021, which was Villains.
Yes.
Very villainous voyage.
This is actually from...
That's Pixar.
This is Pixar. This is Pixar and Pixar. This is Kaylee. She was our...
She was our drawing reference model.
Addams Family.
The Cruella ones. These were a mess. We actually had a whole different setup when we first started that was in the corner of the studio, and it was all boxes, and it was like a almost looked like I was sitting in a garbage. Yeah. And it just looked like I was the piece of garbage. So we had to change it for something
It really
cleaner.
didn't work.
And I don't think you can ever really see this because of how dark it is, but we actually are fading in.
We're faded, yeah.
We don't have any of the bottom half of us. We're truly ghosts.
It was fun. This is also, this is a testament of I love you for me.
Steve, I can't believe Steve still did this. Also, he's only bald from the front.
Yes, because the bald cap was like peeling in the back. But this was definitely this is not my style, but I love you, so I'm gonna be absolutely ridiculous. But I actually love how they came out.
You were a contracted employee.
I was
a collaborator.
It's fun.
Stella.
This is Stella from our Day of the Dead shoot in 2020. Dia de los Muertos.
Steve
James and I hand did this. This was James's idea.
I think I did some of the more messy ones.
Yes. We wanted to do a Sugar Skull, a Katrina-inspired look, but without the obvious.
I said I didn't want it to look like something I'd seen before. And so when we were floating around the ideas of different types of makeup, I was like, no, I love the glamour. So how can we do that? And I was like, well, we have to get it off her face. And then I remembered I had some old copper wire from a craft project. And I said, well, if you can bend it, you can make like a jewelry version.
And we did, and it took both of us
the afternoon.
Yeah, the afternoon to figure this out and to how do we create these pieces? How do we connect it?
It actually all connected to her face. So it hooked onto her nose. You can actually see the nose piece there. And it hooked onto her cheekbones. So
the nose piece was by itself, and the eyes were glasses that were just resting on her nose.
On the ridge.
And the mouthpiece is just like stuck, like just squeezed
onto the
onto her.
It was very fine wire, and it kept falling off. But you could actually wear it if you stayed very still. You could wear it freeform.
Yeah, and it was this was shot in our house.
And these are Stella's normal nails.
Yes.
That wasn't for the shoot.
But I actually really love this black and white one because there's some camera shake with it, which kind of gives it a much more effective storytelling moment with it.
Stella did all her makeup. She's so beautiful.
Stella's always game to play, so she's a big part of Steve Lamona's photography.
Stella is the makeup artist that we usually have. So if you ever do a shoot with us, you'll probably have Stella.
She's the primary. We have some more weddings. These are friends. This is Casey and Chase.
What's actually funny is I used to work with Casey back in Tokyo Disney Resort like over 10 years ago now.
Yeah.
And so it was funny when Steve said, "Oh, I'm doing the wedding a wedding engagement session
for them." And Chase and I know each other from work here. But if you've been around Steve Lamona's photography for a while, Chase was one of our models for my Harry Potter Cadabra shoot. He was our Ravenclaw.
Yes, he was.
But here he is now. We did his engagement session. I actually really like this picture. This is the first time I think I took a light outside during daytime.
Yeah.
And it does give a little bit of that romance novel look, but I still really like it.
Did you have the lens on for this?
I did. I had the my ND filter.
Yeah.
With the light. I had.
Interesting.
Yeah, just holding. Why? What do you say?
No, I'm just saying interesting.
And this is their engagement session. Of course, this is their wedding, and they were just so beautiful. They're such great people.
Very sweet.
And then this, is very much...
It's such a fairy tale shot.
It definitely, once upon a dream.
Casey and I used to dance together in Tokyo.
Yes.
So this is a moment made for her.
Yes.
To pull that ball gun out and spin.
She's beautiful.
She's so pretty.
Moving on. Here we are. Oh, now we're back to Trent and Sophia.
This was the wedding couple from the beginning of the flip.
And this was... they had 2 engagement sessions. This was engagement session at the beach, at El Matador State Beach in Malibu, which we were there for a couple of hours, and the light just hits a little differently up there than it does at our beaches in Orange County. And again, minimalistic, simple, neutral tones, but very effective and stunning couple.
It's kind of hard to shoot at some beaches because you have to get permits.
Yes, and
some rangers will actually troll the parks, and
because this is City of LA, there's always a bunch of filming, so they're really strict on the permits. Fortunately, I had one when the ranger came to stop me.
Yeah.
And then we did another engagement session for them in the studio.
That was great.
I love this.
It's actually a really great lesson in metering skin tones. And it actually turned out really well. And I was really proud of that.
And they are, again, game for anything. And just, I love this picture.
Yeah. They're very cool.
Very cool.
Baby.
I
think they're the only babies in here.
Probably, actually. These are friends from, their parents are friends of mine from work. And I've been a part of Chapman, or of his story for a long time. And now it's just kind of, now the second one is here. And so now photographing him. And then, it's just, it's cool to kind of watch them grow up.
Long-term clients. That's always something.
Yes.
Steve was, much a hobbyist photographer, and then he would do it for, as a side hustle. And then ever since he's actually made it into his real business, it's funny to remind ourselves that there are some people that knew him from a time where he was just doing it as a hobby.
Correct.
And that some of those people are now, ushered into this new world of it being fully for real.
It's also crazy because a year ago I was photographing the maternity photos for him.
Yeah.
And now here he is, I'm photographing his first birthday.
I find it funny when you, like, my sister was just saying that we have photos of Elijah from when you took them. Now they're getting their family photos done. She's had about 3 different family shoots this year, but I'm going to go home and photograph Savannah.
Yeah.
And
it's just, it's always a little interesting how the story goes on. And to be able to be a part of people's story in this way is really cool. Very special.
Yeah. Really nice.
Speaking of families.
Yeah.
These were from my holiday mini sessions in 2020. And these were all the promo. These were promo. And this is Carissa.
It was because she did this that I said, we should play with her in the studio.
And we did. And she was amazing. And then this is my mom. This is in her backyard. And this was actually a light test.
Oh, was it a test?
A total light test.
No.
I said, Mom, just stand there. And then the wind blew and I just clicked it and she looks beautiful. I love it. And these are friends of mine. They're a group, they're a scene group called Fault Lines. And they released a new single, a new album. And so they wanted some album artwork. So we did a portrait editorial session for them here. Stunning, incredible talents. Both wonderful musicians, great singers.
That was all around Christmas time on the other page.
This is all around Christmas time. This is our Christmas photo from 2020. This is inspired by Moira Rose from Schitt's Creek, the TV show. So our tagline was, "Have yourself a Moira little Christmas."
So dumb.
But it's funny.
It's so dumb. It's printed out so huge in our house.
I know, and I'm obsessed with it. James made this trash bag coat, and I made this fur hat.
And those fur things on your arms are...
They're
the rave
things
boots.
for your legs.
Leg warmers.
We actually went to the field that we shot these pictures in. We went over there. We went to the same field just a couple weeks later.
Last minute. It was so last minute.
Literally, we thought the idea up, and a day and a half later, we were shooting it.
Yeah.
It was very fun.
There was someone in the car watching us as we were doing it.
Yes.
Too.
They follow me on Instagram.
Oh, no way. Yeah.
These are for this year. This is another one of James's friends who he danced with in Japan.
Yeah, literally. With Casey as well.
With Casey.
It's so bizarre to me that Steve ended up shooting these engagements for people that I worked with years ago.
And the story behind this is Courtney rented this dress. She wanted this big fluffy gown. And so we went to a field. Ironically, we went to the same field that we took Sarah to and photographed some of these portraits in golden hour. It's just really ethereal and pretty.
You tend to gravitate towards the spots that you know.
Yeah, well, it's easiest.
And then you gatekeep them.
Yes. Don't tell anybody where I'm shooting.
It's my field. No, Steve will share his information.
Yeah, I'll no wait there. These were my holiday mini sessions for 2021, inspired by my trip to Italy. So there's lemons in here. Obviously, my last name means lemon, so it makes sense. And I love Italy. These were shot in studio, and these were... This is obviously Stella.
I love the dog smiling.
Yeah. And Bowie, my friend Evan. And this, fun fact, this is Justin and Allie. And Justin and I know each other from college. They live in Minnesota, but they were out here the weekend that I was doing these promo test shots. And I asked if they would model for me, which they graciously agreed to do so. But Justin is actually I would say not only is a great friend and we've known each other for a long time, but he's a photographer also, and he was my first photography mentor that kind of took me under his wing. I went to visit him in Minnesota. He says, I have 2 weddings this weekend. You should come out to Minnesota and I will teach you how to shoot weddings.
That's so nice.
And so I did. I took him up on his offer, and the rest is history. So it was really great to be able to give back.
The rest is history.
Yeah, but I really like how these turned out. Stella, obviously, always looking like a queen. These are my parents. Again, this is one of the pictures from before, or this is from that same session.
This is Liam on his special.
And then this is me. This is a self-portrait that I did in our house.
That's when you had your mustache.
That's when I had my mustache. And actually, you can't really see, but my dad has a mustache, so that's what the mustache homage is to my dad. But the reason why I took these pictures was because I was actually trying out what it would be like to shoot with lights outside for my holiday mini sessions. And so I had my parents asked if they would model for me, and I ended up getting this printed very big, and I gave it to them for Christmas last year, and it's a really cool portrait. I want to see it hanging in their house.
You also painted some backdrops up there, and
I did.
You shot your cousins?
My cousins. So any of these, like yellow, like this was painted up there at their house.
Yeah, I like that one.
I really like
You almost ruined the driveway, but never mind.
Nobody knows that. Speaking of family.
Filth.
So another one of Stella. Stella obviously makes many guest appearances through here. This is the back of the canvas. This is this was right before my trip to Italy, and of course I was always thinking about Italy, and I just wanted to this was the very first shoot that I did in my new studio.
Yeah, Monica Bellucci, there was an Italian Vogue spread. Was it Italian?
Yes, with her daughter.
And it was kind of her being, the artist's muse in the studio. And so we said we wanted to do something very Monica Bellucci, but like it was Botticelli and it was
Italian Renaissance.
So Stella's wearing my shirt, my big Juliet shirt, and yeah, she just put her hair back in a low chignon, and we draped that up there and tried to keep it as natural and deconstructed as we could, and then got the little wind machine out, and she just went for it, and I just thought it was so pretty.
Yeah, it's beautiful. We call it the Stellacelli.
And this is printed really big in our studio.
Yes.
Steve's studio.
Yes. And this is actually one of my favorite photos that I've taken of James. James might feel differently, but there's something about how the light hits, the way he looks. I was very proud of this shoot. I felt like I accomplished a lot.
I like that you like it. I think it's a good photo. But when I look at me, I feel like it's not me. I feel like I'm so serious. But I don't know what I look like when I'm serious, because I don't just seriously stare at myself in the mirror.
Yeah, very handsome.
Thanks.
I do like that picture. This was also paired with, he put on everything Disney and Duffy related.
I had all my Gelatoni stuff.
That's it, Gelatoni stuff.
So I prefer that.
Yes. He likes those portraits, but I love these ones. Those are not included in here.
I think that's honestly what I think I see is it's real. And I'm always like putting it on. So that's why I feel like I never see myself that way.
Yeah, that's amazing. Was I doing the wind?
So I was thinking about this the other day. Either I kind of threw my head back to make it move, or I did have a board at some point and I was like flying it at myself, but my hands are here, so it couldn't have been. I might have just run my hand through my hair or something. No idea.
Holy Spirit.
Moved through me.
I love it, but either way, it still is a
no. Because at one point I did have the board in my hand, going like
yes, and I was like, "This is not working."
Because no, you can see the board in your hand. I was like, I don't mind.
Just fanning himself. I love it. Oh, this is bam. This is Kaylee, and this is the day that we did the villain shoot for the poses, and I said, "Bring some other outfit options," and I went very Brigitte Bardot inspired.
Yeah, he wanted to have a go at it. Stella did some gorgeous little individual lashes.
It's amazing.
And I just thought that needs to be a big full page.
It's, incredible. We put this bow on her, and the rest is history. I love this pose too. Very unique. Moving on. It's my buddy Nate. So Nate, Isaac, and I are all workout buddies together, and
they both had their own
birthday shoots. And we've gotten very close. But Nate also for a while was working as my assistant. So this is a test shot.
Oh, when they say like he's the muscle, like he's the brawn, like Nate literally leveled out some ground
for the 2020 holiday mini sessions. We had a location that was set, and then when we went there the day of, they had fenced up that area on the field.
Construction over there,
and it was last minute, and so we had to change location. We had to change it was same location. We just had to change the area, hoping that the light would be the same.
And the point was that we had a big tree that was supposed to shade a lot of the location,
which would and give a great backdrop.
So we found another tree that could shade it, and we could put the thing in, but unfortunately all the ground around it was so uneven. It was from tire tracks and everything.
It was wild. And I knew that I was going to have a wheelchair because the family had booked the session, and the father was in a wheelchair, so I knew that it had to be accessible. So I called up our friend Karen from Jenny and Pearl, who's kind of our, surrogate mother here. And I was like, Karen, do you guys have a shovel? She goes, yes. And so I went to her house because we didn't have a shovel. Got the shovel. Nate came and he leveled a pathway and the whole shooting area.
Just excavating
manually. Hours before the first client.
Yeah. So he was such a great help.
He's a great help. But so he worked as the assistant, and this was a test shot. Actually, he assisted us on the Cruise Muse Baz Luhrmann shoot. Yeah. He was helping hold lights, and so while Jess was getting changed, I was like, Nate, go ahead and get in that location. So we did a light test, and that's that.
And Nate's interesting to me because I actually think he looks really different in real life. He photographs really differently. Yes. Even in some of these, you can see just from shot to shot, he looks like kind of different people. Mm-hmm. He's a real interesting chameleon, like my sister in front of the camera. Yeah. They photograph really differently.
And this was also a light test. I took Nate to Malibu.
You want free shots? Get the light test.
Yeah. So we drove up to Malibu a few days prior to Sophia and Trent's engagement session because I wanted to check the light. And so I said, Nate, stand there. So it was great.
We've had a few people come in for their birthday. It's specifically for their birthday shoots. They're kind of celebrating the milestone of their age. Even if it's not a specific age. But I think that's interesting and fun. And I feel like I'm going to make Steve do that for me next year.
Well, we did it this year. We've done it every year.
No, but not for work.
Oh, just for fun.
Just for me.
Okay. We'll do it. But I do think it's cool because you're only that age for that time period. You only look like this in this specific moment in time. So to have these, I think, is really great to look back on.
Yeah, commemorate.
Yeah. And then your children and your grandchildren will be able to look at this.
Is Isaac next?
I think so. Is it? It is. Well, these are more pictures of Isaac. So Isaac, these are same type of idea. I actually I was trying a new portrait lighting situation. I'd gotten a new softbox, and I said, Isaac, what are you doing tonight? He said, nothing. I said, we're going to the studio. So that's what this one is, of him just standing there. And I think it's a really great, very expressive shot of him too. Tells a lot of story. And he needed help putting outfits together for his upcoming trip.
It was a trade.
And I needed a model because I wanted to try another lighting effect. And so that's where these are from. These are in the studio. How long did this shoot take? 15 minutes? And I love how graphic they are. Again, this is Isaac, who's like, I don't ever want to model. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And here he is.
It's nuts to me. He's been the most outrageous in front of that camera.
And then pulls this out. It's wild. It's amazing.
It's fun.
Here's Janae. This is also from that Halston shoot we were talking about with her braids.
I remember Steve seeing this big dress and was like, what is that? It's going to look terrible. I was like, just wait.
Yeah, we need movement.
We need creasing because it's dramatic with the lights. And
here we are.
I just think I love all these colors and tones.
Oh, it's so rich and deep.
And we also love to do a lot of action and moving because part of all those in-between shots, they're really great when they're still and, quiet. But I think it's so impressive to catch the big action in between shot. So we try a lot of that. But it can be quite exhausting for the poor model to keep going.
But Janae is always game. She said she's keep going until we get it. And this was interesting because we had her kind of set up, brace herself, And then James was like, just flip your hair, just whip your, like get up and whip your hair to the side.
Yeah, I was like, just bend over all the way down and then just crack yourself back up again.
And so she did a bend and snap, and that's what we got.
It's really good.
It's very cool. Okay. This is back to Christian, the model who we saw earlier, and where it was black and white.
Yeah, again, the action shot, like right in the middle of it. All of these, we tell people to stomp the camera sometimes, so he literally gets up on his foot and like tries to get the camera lens with his foot. There's falling to the side, jumping. He was non-stop.
No, and he went for it. What's really interesting, so in the world of portraiture, you have these backdrops, right? And you have these clips, and that's how everything is set, and you're shooting within your frame. Editorial tells you that the rules are there to be broken a little bit. That it doesn't matter what's in the frame, and this was actually really hard for me to learn, is that if the picture looks great, if the subject looks interesting, you don't care about the rest of it. The rest of it just starts to serve the story. Yeah. And there's a place for both of them. It took me a while to it took me a while to shoot indirect with the model facing the sunlight. It took me a while to shoot dirty frame and to just let it live and to let it be.
Yeah, he would try to build out all that and make it the same as the background. And I kept telling him, I was like, well, in drawing, I'll only focus on the thing that I want and I'll draw everyone's attention there. So it doesn't matter if there's some sketches on the side or if there's a paint swatch over here. Sometimes that tells a story on its own.
Like, I would have literally worked to clone stamp this backdrop around his hair to extend it.
We did that for a long time.
But you don't need it. You don't need it for these.
I mean, sometimes you notice it after the fact, but if it's the first thing you noticed, you probably just need to take the photo again.
Yeah. Do a better job at the beginning.
You need to make sure that you're gravitating people's eyes towards there first. But yeah, you'd be shocked. If you look at a fashion magazine and see just how many dirty frame images are, you'd actually be shocked.
You see apple boxes, you see wires, you see cords, you see everything. Lights.
I'm about ready to see a tether and a
You see the wardrobe, that the model's wearing everywhere else. You just see the rest of the wardrobe.
Sometimes you even see my hand with the windboard.
Yes, I'll Photoshop that out though.
Yeah, you don't want a hand in there. Rogue hand.
Some more client studio shots. Yeah, studio shots, client work. This is my best friend Seasons, her daughter.
I will say
this is her senior photo too.
One of the biggest challenges of studio shots and lighting is to not make it look like an 80s glam shot. And so there was a lot of tricks with the lighting, and I feel like if you're ever going to learn all of this, just practice with the lighting as often as you can. Because if you get the lighting down, everything else just works easier.
It changes the whole thing. These are, again, senior photos. Amazing.
And you're learning not even to just like how to set it up. It's bending and shaping the light.
Yes.
That took us, a year to really even understand.
I'm still trying to understand it. Still.
It was a crash course. We took a lot of hard photos.
Yeah. A lot of ooh. But I think we're finding our way based on these. Oh, this is my friend Adrienne from work. Again, this is another birthday shoot. This is a milestone birthday for her. She wanted to celebrate this moment and remember it. And she's an incredible singer and has had a really great fantastic fun career. And she sings everything from R&B to rock and roll to funk jazz and then to swing and, a la Ella Fitzgerald, Billie Holiday. She's wonderful. And she also came to play. She had a good time. She made this skirt too.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun.
Love this. Love these images.
A lot of personal style that she wanted to play with as well.
Lots of, expressing the different parts of who she is.
Totally.
Yeah, I love it. Oh, we're back to Italy. This is the town of Amalfi, or the city of Amalfi? The town. This is Amalfi, on the Amalfi coast. Just sights. This is actually Rome. This was shot when I went to Rome. One thing that I love about Italy and Europe is live music and buskers. I think buskers change the shape of the city. They change the emotion of the city. Really? So I was outside. The Trevi Fountain is over here, and I was eating this pizza that came highly recommended. And first of all, the pizza was delicious. I had some delicious wine with it as well. And then this busker comes out, and it's evening. Our friends are here.
I tell you.
Sorry.
It's not just me, it's you too.
And it was like evening, just like the sun went away. I mean, it was beautiful, warm, and the busker shows up and starts to play this accordion, and I was obsessed.
Look at these little finger marks in there.
Yeah. And I went up, I asked him, I said, can I take a picture of you? And while you're playing, and he let me go ahead and do it. It's Amalfi. I love this picture. Very cool.
Steve shooting free advertisements for Vespa.
Yeah. Vespa?
I loved this.
This was fun. This is just an Italian woman looking outside of her window, smoking a cigarette, and I thought, this is very Italian. She was listening to the people. This is
my Italy.
She was listening to the people in the other window, like kind of shouting at each other, and I was waiting for her to shout at them.
She is me.
Yeah.
That's my spirit.
Here we are with more Italy.
Color Story.
Yeah, Color Story. We try to go primary color or rainbow, right?
I think that's the blue we sampled for.
That is the blue.
End papers.
Sfaraglione. Lemons from Amalfi. This is a Vespa in Rome. This is in Positano.
That's the color red I love.
Mm-hmm.
Red.
So much fun. This is what I love this layout. And in black and white of Positano. You okay?
Excuse me, yeah.
Yeah, this is the beach with all the symmetrical umbrellas. You know, my favorite part of this image is the light leak, and also this guy just chilling out the edge of his boat, watching me take a picture.
He's posing.
Yep. And then we end with me.
Holding a clip.
Holding a clip. This is a light test.
Yeah, there's so many of these light tests. I'm in there looking terrible.
This is me.
Beautiful lighting.
Me wearing a Mickey Mouse shirt with some fox socks, holding a clip, just doing whatever. And I thought, this is a fun picture. This is what I look like when I shoot. And again, authentically connect, playfully create, uniquely capture.
Nothing on the back, just your logo.
Oh. It is my logo, but it's covered.
Don't steal this information.
Yes. And that...
Sorry.
That's it. There we have it.
Your 2021 portfolio.
2021 portfolio. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for looking through that. If you're watching, if you're just listening to our little anecdotes about photography. I know we weren't really explaining anything about photography.
No,
but
just talking
so many stories. And I feel like we've shared a lot of these before, so I don't know where you're at with how much you know about this journey. But if you have been following it for a while, I hope that this has been a nice kind of update for you to see where things are progressing and how things are growing. I think it's always nice to see the growth and to see the journey and to reflect back on where you've been at and to not discredit it, to like have a healthy disconnect from some of the stuff you've learned from, but also to just to appreciate that we all start where we start and we all have a different pace and we all are looking to go to different places. But if we can appreciate the journey and enjoy it along the way, that's really what it's all about, isn't it?
Truly. And it's also interesting to go to see exactly what we were doing 14 months ago and what I was trying to figure out 14 months ago and what now, 14 months later, just seems like second nature.
Totally. And I will say this one thing. If you ever get a chance to see your photos in print, they're always much better to see in print.
Yes.
There's just something so different about it. And you don't have to make a book like this. There are lots of instant photo places that will do it. But yeah, if you're a photographer, definitely get something printed so you can enjoy it.
It changes it.
It changes everything.
Makes it more real.
Totally. You want to, I mean, if you're going to flip through a magazine, you might as well flip through a magazine of your own images, right?
Yeah.
Alrighty.
I love it. Thank
Any
you for having
thoughts?
me. To authentically connect, playfully create, and uniquely capture.
Imagine you said it wrong.
That's why I'm second guessing myself. Oh my goodness.
I have to open and check it.
I literally almost did, but I was like, I can't do that because what type of mission statement would it be if I can't remember it? Oh my goodness.
I'm going to have to wrap this up and pop that in my suitcase to give to my family for Christmas.
Oh, I hope they don't see this until after
No,
Christmas.
I'll put it up afterwards.
Okay. Well, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
It'll already be the new year.
Okay, so
I hope you're enjoying it.
Happy New Year.
Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you another time soon. Until then,
bye.